John stands still, feeling a strange sense of awe and calm wash over him. As Azrael draws closer, he notices how his presence seems to bend the very fabric of the dream around them. The air feels lighter, and the stars in the sky shine brighter, as if they too are aware of the angel's arrival. John's heart races, but it's not out of fear. There's a familiarity to this moment, something deeply comforting. Azrael speaks softly, but with great authority. Azrael, do not be afraid, John. I'm here to guide you through the truths of the universe that lie beyond your understanding. You have asked many questions, but tonight, the answers will come. John looks at the angel, trying to process what is happening. His mind races with questions, but he feels strangely reluctant to speak, almost as though he knows the answers are not in the questions themselves, but in the experience of simply being here. He swallows hard, his voice shaky as he speaks. John, who are you? What is this place? I don't understand. Is this a dream? Azrael smiles, a calm expression that seems to dissolve any tension within John. The angel's voice is a melody of warmth and knowing. Azrael, yes, this is a dream, but not just any dream. This is a space between realities, a place where your mind can receive the wisdom it cannot yet grasp in the waking world. I am Azrael, a messenger of the infinite. Tonight you will learn what you have been searching for all your life, answers to the questions that have left you restless and unfulfilled. John's confusion deepens, but with it, a sense of curiosity begins to grow. He's always wondered about the bigger picture, the meaning of life, his purpose, the nature of existence. But no matter how much he searched, he could never find anything concrete. Now, in the presence of this being, the answers seem so close, yet so distant. Azrael gestures for John to follow him. The angel starts walking across the luminous landscape, and without thinking, John does the same, his feet light, as though walking on air. Azrael. Many live their lives caught in a web of distraction and illusion. They feel the weight of questions like you do, without the answers. They live in the illusion of time, seeing everything as linear, as if the past, present, and future are separate. But in truth, they are one. John listens intently, but his mind still struggles to grasp the enormity of what Azrael is saying. John, the past, present, and future, one. But if everything is connected, why do we experience time the way we do? Why does life seem so random? Azrael stops and turns to face him. There's a moment of deep silence, as though the universe itself is pausing to hear the question. Azrael, the randomness you feel is only the surface. Beneath it lies a grand design, a universal harmony that most cannot see. What you perceive as chaos is part of a much larger pattern. You are not separate from this pattern, John. You are an integral piece of the whole. John feels a strange warmth radiating from Azrael's words. It's as if the weight of his confusion begins to lift, and a flicker of understanding ignites within him. But before he can process more, Azrael motions for him to look up at the sky. Azrael, look above. What do you see? John lifts his gaze, seeing a vast expanse of stars, more than he's ever noticed in the night sky. The stars twinkle with an almost deliberate rhythm, as if they are part of a cosmic dance. As he watches, the stars seem to shimmer and shift, forming new constellations with each passing moment, creating patterns that feel familiar yet ungraspable. John, the stars. They're moving, changing, but how can that be? Stars are supposed to stay in place, aren't they? Azrael smiles gently, a kind expression full of knowing. Azrael, what you see is the illusion of permanence. Nothing is static, John. Everything is in motion, evolving, changing. This is the truth of the universe. What appears fixed is merely a moment in an eternal flow. Time is not a straight line. It is a circle, a spiral, ever expanding. The same way your soul is constantly evolving, the universe is in a state of perpetual creation. John's heart races. His mind begins to open, but he feels a lingering resistance, like a veil between him and full understanding. Azrael seems to sense this hesitation. Azrael, let go of the need to understand everything all at once. Trust that the wisdom you seek will come in time, and that you are already on the path to realizing your place in the cosmos. Azrael's words sink deeply into John's consciousness. For the first time in years, he feels something shift inside, like the smallest seed of truth is beginning to take root. But the angel is not finished. Azrael, John, there is a reason you feel disconnected, a reason you search for meaning. You have yet to understand the most important truth of all. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself through you. The answers you seek are within you, and all around you. John stands still, overwhelmed by the magnitude of the revelation, yet the calmness of the moment keeps him grounded. His mind races with questions, but he can feel the answers settling deep within him, like a distant echo growing clearer. The vast landscape around them pulses with a light that seems to emanate from the very fabric of existence itself. As the stars shimmer, John realizes that they are not just distant objects, but reflections of something larger, of himself, of everyone, of the universe. And for the first time in his life, he feels truly, profoundly alive. Azrael leads John through a shimmering, surreal landscape that stretches into infinity. As they walk, the ground beneath their feet seems to shift, and the air around them hums with a quiet resonance. The stars above swirl in patterns that John has never seen before, filling the sky with brilliant, pulsing light. Azrael, what you perceive as reality, John, is but one layer of existence. The truth is far more expansive, infinite, and ever-changing. Your senses are limited, bound to this physical form, but that doesn't mean the universe is bound by the same rules. All that you see is just a fragment of the whole. Reality is constantly shifting, expanding, interwoven with energies you cannot yet fathom. John tries to take in Azrael's words, his mind struggling to comprehend the vastness of the universe. He feels the weight of the question that has haunted him for years. What is the purpose of all this? But before he can ask, Azrael continues. Azrael, time, space, matter, and consciousness. They are all expressions of the same fundamental energy. There is no true separation between them. You, the stars, the animals, the earth, are all made of this same energy. Everything is connected. The universe is one intricate web of existence, and each thread is equally important. John is struck by the beauty of the idea. He had always thought of himself as separate from the world, an individual struggling to find meaning in a chaotic existence. But now, the idea that everything, the stars, the trees, the people, are part of a grand, interconnected whole, fills him with awe. John, so we are all the same, even the stars. Azrael, yes, John. The stars are not distant objects in a cold, empty sky. They are part of the same energy that flows through you. You are no different from them. You are all part of the same cosmic consciousness, experiencing itself in different forms. The illusion of separation is just that, an illusion. You are not an isolated entity, but a piece of the vast, ever-flowing river of existence. John feels the ground beneath his feet as if it too is alive, pulsing with a subtle energy. He takes a deep breath, trying to absorb everything Azrael is revealing to him. Azrael continues to guide John through this strange, luminous world, and John's questions begin to flow freely. John, if everything is connected, if we are all part of the same energy, then where does free will come in? Do we really have control over our choices? Azrael stops walking and turns to face him. The angel's eyes glow with understanding, as if he already knows the depth of John's confusion. Azrael, the concept of free will, as you understand it, is an illusion. Your choices are not as independent as you believe. They are influenced by a complex web of factors. your past experiences, your environment, your genetic predispositions, and the greater cosmic forces at work. Free will, in the way you think of it, is a limited perception. What feels like choice is actually part of a much larger cosmic pattern, a harmony that is unfolding across time. John's mind races as he tries to grasp the magnitude of Azrael's words. John: but that means nothing is really in my control. All my decisions, my life, have been part of this pattern. Azrael: yes, in a sense. But this does not mean that you are a mere puppet, John. You still have the ability to respond, to evolve within the pattern. Every choice, every action you take, ripples through the web of existence, affecting the whole. You are both an actor and a participant, but your role is within the grander design. There is freedom in understanding that your choices are part of a larger harmonious flow, not separate from it. John feels a deep sense of relief wash over him. It's as if a heavy weight has been lifted from his shoulders, and for the first time in his life, he feels that his struggles are not pointless. They are part of something much greater, something that he is still learning to understand. As they walk on, the scenery shifts once again. The space around them becomes more fluid, more ethereal. The stars swirl around them in patterns that are both alien and familiar, and John feels a deep connection to them. Azrael: at the core of all things, John, the universe is made of consciousness and energy. These two forces are inseparable. Consciousness is the source, the underlying awareness that binds everything together, while energy is the force that drives all motion, all change. Your thoughts, your intentions, your very actions are made of this energy and consciousness. They create ripples that reverberate through the cosmos. John's mind begins to race. He remembers the times in his life when he felt connected to something greater, those fleeting moments when everything seemed to make sense, when his actions felt purposeful. He begins to realize that those moments of clarity were more than just coincidences. They were glimpses of something deeper, something eternal. Azrael: every thought you have, every action you take sends ripples into the web of existence. Your consciousness, John, is not just limited to your body. It is infinite, connected to all things. And as you grow in awareness, you begin to align your consciousness with the greater flow of the universe. Azrael guides John through a new space, one filled with glowing symbols and patterns. The energy here feels different, more vibrant, more alive. John can feel the presence of something vast and ancient. Azrael: you, John, are not a random accident. Your life has purpose. Your journey, your struggles, your growth, they are all part of the cosmic process. You are here to evolve spiritually, to understand the deeper truths of existence. The pain and suffering you feel are not meaningless. They are part of your growth, part of the transformation you must go through to reach a higher understanding. John's heart aches as he remembers the pain he's felt throughout his life, the loss of his connection with Sarah, his unfulfilled work, the feelings of isolation. The weight of all these emotions feels different now, less burdensome somehow. John: so all the pain I've been through, it's part of something bigger. Azrael: yes. Suffering is not a punishment, John. It is a catalyst for transformation. Without pain, there would be no growth. Without loss, there could be no appreciation for what you have. The key is to learn from your suffering, to allow it to guide you toward deeper compassion and understanding. It is not the suffering that defines you, but how you rise from it. As they continue their journey, Azrael's words fill John with a sense of peace and understanding. The landscape begins to soften, becoming more serene. The stars above seem to pulse with warmth, like the beating of a giant cosmic heart. Azrael: and at the heart of everything, John, is love. Love is the most profound force in the universe. It is the energy that binds everything together. True love, unconditional, pure, and expansive, transcends everything. It is not confined to human relationships, but is the very force that holds the fabric of existence together. When you learn to love fully, you align yourself with the universe itself. John feels an overwhelming surge of emotion. The idea of love, not just as an emotion between people, but as the force that underpins all of existence, resonates deeply within him. For the first time, he understands that love is not just a fleeting experience. It is the very foundation of everything. As Azrael speaks, John is taken on a journey through time. The landscape around them dissolves and reforms in an instant. He sees glimpses of his past, moments of joy and sorrow, his childhood and the future he's yet to experience. He sees alternate versions of himself, some happy, some struggling, each living out different possibilities. Azrael. Time, John, is also an illusion. You experience it as a linear progression, past, present, and future. But in the true nature of reality, all time exists simultaneously. The past, the future, they are not separate from the now. Everything happens in the eternal present. John feels his perception of time begin to warp. He realizes that all those moments he thought were lost, his past regrets, his future hopes, they are all part of the same eternal now, always present, always connected. As Azrael continues to show him these profound truths, John is faced with his own emotional wounds, his regrets, his bitterness, his inability to fully connect with others. He sees his failed marriage to Sarah, his lack of fulfillment in life, and the many ways he has resisted love. Azrael. These struggles, John, are part of your journey. They are the shadows that you must face in order to grow. Your inability to love fully, your fears and doubts. They are the result of your resistance to the greater flow of the universe. The more you resist, the longer your suffering persists. But once you let go, once you allow love to enter, the transformation begins. John's eyes fill with tears as he begins to understand. His suffering was never meaningless. It was a part of his spiritual evolution. He has been running from love, from connection, because of his fears. But now he understands that the only way forward is to embrace love, to accept it, fully. This section concludes with John feeling overwhelmed yet enlightened, standing on the threshold of a new understanding of himself and the universe. The journey of revelation has just begun. The landscape around them shifts one last time, becoming an ethereal vision of flowing light and energy. As Azrael speaks, the stars above them seem to move in patterns that are both intricate and timeless. John feels himself drawn into the vision, unable to look away. The world around him fades, and he finds himself standing in the midst of a vast, cosmic cycle. Azrael. Life, death, and rebirth are part of a never-ending cycle, John. You are not the first, nor will you be the last to walk this path. Your soul has lived many lives before this one. Each life, each experience, has been part of your soul's evolution, a journey of seeking deeper truths, learning and growing. John's mind reels as the veil of time lifts. He suddenly finds himself witnessing scenes from past lives, different versions of himself, living in various places and times. In one life, he is a philosopher in ancient Greece, pondering the mysteries of existence. In another, he is a warrior, struggling to reconcile violence with compassion. In yet another, he is a humble peasant, finding meaning in the simple, quiet moments of life. Azrael. In each life, you sought the same truth, John. You were never truly lost, even though you felt it in each moment. You were always on the path, always seeking understanding, always moving toward this realization. John is overcome with emotion as he realizes that the struggles, mistakes, and joys of each past life were all part of a larger, interconnected journey. They weren't random or meaningless. They were the building blocks of his soul's growth, shaping him into who he is now. The cosmic landscape shifts again, and John feels himself rising above the vastness of space. He sees himself as an individual, a single thread in the grand tapestry of the universe, yet he feels both incredibly small and infinitely vast at the same time. Asriel. You may feel insignificant, John, lost in the enormity of the cosmos. But your life, your existence, is not without meaning. Every individual life is a microcosm of the greater whole. You are connected to everything, and everything you do, no matter how small, ripples out into the fabric of the universe. The smallest act of love, the most fleeting moment of compassion, sends waves through time and space. There is nothing that is without purpose. John begins to see his life as an intricate part of a vast, interconnected whole. Every decision, every choice he made, no matter how small, has rippled through time. The relationships he has, the moments of kindness, and even the times he felt lost have contributed to the grand design of the universe. It's all connected. And in this moment, he feels the weight of that connection, profound and humbling. As the dream begins to draw to a close, John feels a profound sense of peace settle within him. The existential doubts that had plagued him for so long, the feeling of being lost, of having no purpose, begin to dissipate like mist in the morning sun. His mind, once clouded with confusion and fear, is now filled with clarity and understanding. Asriel. You have learned, John. You have awakened. The universe is not random, nor are your struggles meaningless. Everything has a purpose. Every challenge, every moment of pain, is part of your spiritual evolution. You are part of the grand design, and the design is beautiful, even in its complexity. John feels a deep, undeniable sense of peace. The weight of his life, of his past mistakes and missed opportunities, no longer feels like a burden. He understands that everything has been leading him to this moment. The realization that he is a part of something far greater than himself, that his life is meaningful, and that his purpose is to grow, to love, and to live in harmony with the universe. Suddenly, John feels himself waking up. The landscape fades, and he feels the soft warmth of his own bed beneath him. He opens his eyes to find himself back in his own world, the same world he had woken from so many times before. But something is different now. He feels changed. He sits up in bed, taking in the familiar surroundings. His bedroom, the same room he had felt suffocated in just the night before, now feels strangely comforting. The walls, once oppressive, now feel like a part of the universe's design, holding him, protecting him. He takes a deep breath, the air feeling fresher than before, as if he's breathing in the essence of the universe itself. John, to himself. I understand now. As he stands and walks to the window, the sunlight filtering through the blinds feels different, brighter, warmer, more alive. He watches the world outside, his city, the people rushing by, the birds flying in the sky. And he sees it all with new eyes. The universe is not a chaotic, random place. It is a grand, interconnected whole, and every moment is a reflection of that truth. John thinks of Sarah, his wife. The strained relationship that had seemed so unresolvable just days before now feels like an opportunity for growth. He no longer sees her as a source of conflict, but as a partner on the same journey of learning and transformation. John, to himself, I will love her more. I will be patient, compassionate. I'll let go of the need to control. We are both on the same path, trying to grow, to understand, to find peace. His work, too, takes on new meaning. No longer does it feel like a soul-sucking cycle of drudgery. Instead, he now sees it as a place to contribute, to learn, and to align his actions with the flow of the universe. John, to himself. Every moment is an opportunity. Every interaction, every task is part of the whole. John's heart swells with a sense of gratitude. For the first time in a long while, he feels at peace with himself, with the world, and with the universe. The knowledge he gained in the dream, about the interconnectedness of all things, about love, suffering, and the eternal cycle of existence remains with him. He no longer feels alone or insignificant. He understands his place in the grand design. The dream may have ended, but its lessons will stay with him forever. As the story concludes, John steps out into the world, no longer weighed down by doubt or fear, but with a newfound sense of purpose, clarity, and love. The journey of transformation has only just begun, and he is ready to embrace whatever comes next, knowing that he is not alone in the vast, beautiful universe. Weeks pass since John's transformative dream. The heavy fog of existential doubt that once clouded his thoughts has lifted. He wakes up each day with a newfound sense of purpose, a quiet yet undeniable awareness of his place in the universe. The mundane routines of his life now carry a deeper significance, a sense of connection to everything and everyone around him. John begins each day with a few minutes of mindfulness. He sits by his window, allowing himself to fully absorb the moment, the warmth of the sunlight, the rustling of the trees, the distant hum of city life. He breathes deeply, grounding himself in the present, no longer distracted by the noise of his mind. In these moments, he feels truly alive, aware, and connected to the universe in a way he never did before. At work, he is more present, no longer consumed by the desire to escape or push through each task as quickly as possible. He approaches his job with patience and openness, finding joy in the small moments. When a colleague shares a personal story, John listens intently, offering words of encouragement that feel more sincere than ever before. He recognizes that even his work, once an oppressive part of his life, is a place where he can contribute, connect, and grow. Perhaps the most profound shift in John's life is in his relationship with Sarah. The tension that had once defined their marriage is no longer present. Instead of retreating into bitterness or self-doubt, John embraces vulnerability. He practices compassion, recognizing that Sarah is on her own journey, just as he is. Together, they attend therapy, something John had resisted for years. But now, he sees it not as a burden, but as a means to deepen their understanding of each other. One evening, after a long day of work, John sits with Sarah on their couch. For the first time in a long time, they share a quiet moment, holding hands. He looks at her with fresh eyes, seeing the woman he once loved in a new light. Her flaws are no longer sources of resentment, but opportunities for growth. They talk openly, sharing their fears, their hopes, and their dreams. The conversation is slow, honest, and filled with compassion. Sarah: I feel like we're finally talking, like we're really seeing each other for the first time in years. John: I know. I've been so caught up in myself and my doubts. But I see now that love is about growing together, not just waiting for things to change on their own. They smile at each other, a quiet understanding passing between them. Their marriage, once fragile and strained, is now beginning to heal as they embrace the beauty of each other's humanity. John no longer feels the weight of needing to fix everything. Instead, he now recognizes that love, communication, and shared growth are the foundations of a lasting relationship. As John walks through life, he begins to see beauty in the most unexpected places. The laughter of a child playing in the park brings a sense of joy he never experienced before. He watches a woman help an elderly man cross the street, and the act, simple yet profound, fills him with awe. In the changing colors of the sky, he sees the interwoven threads of time and space, the ebb and flow of existence. One morning, John visits a local cafe to grab his usual coffee. As he waits in line, he notices a stranger, an older man with a kind smile. The man strikes up a conversation, and for the first time, John is fully present in the moment. He listens without judgment, without rushing to speak. They talk about the weather, the beauty of the morning, the small miracles of everyday life. Stranger: You know, it's funny. I've spent so many years rushing through life thinking it was all about the big moments. But now I realize it's the little things that matter most. The way the sunlight hits the trees in the morning, or the feeling of a warm cup of coffee in your hands. It's all connected. John smiles, feeling an overwhelming sense of recognition. The stranger's words echo the very truths Azrael had shared with him. The small, seemingly insignificant moments are the building blocks of the universe, and John is learning to see them for what they are, miracles in their own right. One evening, after a peaceful dinner with Sarah, John steps outside into the cool air. The stars are beginning to appear in the sky, twinkling softly. He takes a deep breath, feeling the stillness of the night surround him. In the quiet of the world, he feels his connection to everything, the earth beneath his feet, the vast expanse above him, and the infinite possibilities that stretch before him. John understands now that the journey he's been on is not a destination. The revelations of the universe, the truths Azrael revealed to him, are not a one-time discovery. They are ongoing, ever-evolving, and something to be embraced each and every day. He feels the weight of his past struggles, but it no longer feels like a burden. They are simply part of his growth, part of the cosmic design that is still unfolding. John, to himself, it's all part of the journey, the pain, the joy, the confusion, the clarity. Every moment is a step along the way. He walks to the edge of his yard and stands for a moment, gazing up at the night sky. It is vast, infinite, and filled with a beauty that is both humbling and awe-inspiring. For the first time, John does not feel small or insignificant. Instead, he feels connected, part of an eternal web of consciousness and love, where every thought, every action, ripples through the cosmos, touching everything in its path. He understands that he is not alone. None of us are. The universe is a vast, interconnected whole, and every person, every living being, is a part of it. The stars above him are no longer distant and cold. They are part of him, and he is part of them. There is no separation, only unity. John stands still for a few moments, his heart full of peace. The night air is cool, and the stars seem to dance in the sky above him. He no longer feels lost. He no longer feels that his life is random or insignificant. Instead, he understands that everything, even the smallest moment,